Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're diving into a really fascinating psychological concept, and we're going to look at it through a unifying metaphor. Picture your life as a massive dance floor. In this dance, there's a dynamic, ongoing partnership between you, the self, and the environment you're in. The music is constantly changing, the floor is occasionally super slippery, and the tempo can speed up when you least expect it. How we handle this dance basically defines our overall psychological well-being. Okay, I want you to use this next question as a personal mirror. Seriously, take a second and analyze your own emotional reactions to daily stress. We all know someone who seems to just effortlessly glide through totally chaotic, stressful situations without missing a single beat. And conversely, we all know someone, maybe it's even us on a bad day, who constantly seems to step on toes, stumble over minor hurdles, and clash with everyone around them. So why exactly does that happen? Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The art of adjustment. 2. Why adjustment matters. 3. The well-adjusted person. And 4. Understanding maladjustment.
Starting right off with Section 1, the art of adjustment.
So, what exactly is it? Well, our source material defines adjustment as the process where a person varies their behavior to produce a more harmonious relationship with their environment. Bringing it back to our dance metaphor, this is the mark of true maturity. It's about actually learning the steps and actively accommodating to the changing music of your life, rather than rigidly insisting on waltzing when a salsa track is playing.
The mechanics of how this works are super fascinating. It all kicks off when a physical, mental, or social need arises, like being absolutely starving after a really long, stressful day at work. That creates immediate tension. To fix this, your behavior adapts. You go to the kitchen, find some food, and eat. Finally, you hit a state of harmony, which psychologists call need reduction. Now, need reduction sounds like a super clinical term, but honestly, it's just the very human process of solving the friction between what we want inside and what the outside world demands of us.
I really want to pause on this one profound, punchy statement directly from the text. Adjustment is an achievement. Think about that. Finding this state of harmony between yourself and your environment doesn't just fall into your lap by accident. It takes active, conscious effort. It's literally something you achieve through practice and resilience.
Moving right along to Section 2, why adjustment matters.
So why should we put the effort in? Well, the ultimate aim here is to gratify our needs by dropping frustrations and tensions to the absolute lowest minimum. We're talking about your quality of life. The source emphasizes that successful adjustment is the key mechanism that allows us to lead a happy, well-contented life with as little internal and external friction as possible.
How does this actually play out in real life? First off, it keeps a balance between what we need and our actual capacity to get it. It nudges us to change our lifestyle when a situation demands it. But here is the really cool part. It gives us the strength to bring desirable changes to our environment. Adjusting isn't just about passively rolling over and accepting a bad situation. Sometimes, true adjustment means stepping up and changing your surroundings to get that balance back.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, the well-adjusted person. I want you to treat these next few points as a personal checklist. What does a highly adjusted person actually look like in practice? Foundationally, when things change, they don't panic or see it as a massive threat. Instead, they view every new situation purely as a challenge, and they meet it head-on with intelligence, courage, and wisdom. They possess this built-in drive to master their environment rather than just letting life happen to them. Plus, they've got this incredible self-awareness. They know their strengths and, just as importantly, their limitations. Because of this, they have what the text calls an adequate level of aspiration. Seriously, think about your own goals for a second. A well-adjusted person's aspirations are perfectly tuned. They aren't too low, but they aren't completely impossible for their skill level either. Combine that with a realistic view of the world, and you've got someone setting themselves up for a win, not chronic disappointment.
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast in how people behave on a daily basis. On one hand, you have flexible behavior, someone who easily adapts to weird or changed circumstances. On the other hand, a rigid, critical, fault-finding attitude. A well-adjusted person just doesn't have that fault-finding mindset. They respect themselves and they respect others, which allows them to stay totally flexible when the music of life changes tempo.
Because they've successfully met their basic physical, emotional, and social needs, they aren't walking around suffering from constant emotional cravings or isolation. They are fulfilled. And, beautifully enough,
Their personal philosophy of life is woven right into the demands of society. They fit into the giant puzzle perfectly, maintaining true harmony with the world around them.
Which brings us to our final section, understanding maladjustment.
So what exactly happens when the dance of life completely loses its rhythm? If adjustment is harmony, maladjustment is the exact opposite. Psychologically speaking, it's the inability to adjust to the demands of relationships and daily stress. It's a fundamentally unhealthy dynamic. Going back to our metaphor, it is literally the equivalent of constantly stepping on your partner's toes, over and over, causing nothing but pain and disharmony.
We're explicitly contrasting two core states here. Adjustment is a harmonious state. Maladjustment is the literal degree of disharmony between a person and their environment. It just points to a failure to adapt to a situation. But, and this is a huge but, the source makes a crucial point about where this failure actually stems from.
Listen to this. Maladjustment always results from the frustration and conflicts caused by unmet needs. Always. That completely flips how we should look at ourselves and others, right? Maladjustment isn't some permanent personality flaw. It's not a moral failing. It is the direct, painful result of a need not being met. It's the exact reverse of that need reduction process we talked about earlier. When your physical or emotional needs are repeatedly blocked, frustration builds, and maladjustment is basically inevitable. So let's wrap up with this thought. Are you leading the dance with your environment, adapting and moving with intelligence and wisdom, or are you stumbling over unmet needs, stuck in a loop of frustration and disharmony? Understanding the mechanics of adjustment gives you the power to change your steps, lower that friction, and finally catch the rhythm. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this helps you find your footing out there on the dance floor of life.